risk without tax. Single dad duties. Recording progress. Better silence. Good. Take home is that really quickly.
Good evening, everyone. I now call this Village of Hebron Council meeting to order at 6 p.m. on Monday, April 27, 2026. Please stand as you're able and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Wolf,
Here.
Mr. Juvenile,
Here.
Mr. Carpenter,
Here.
Hoskinson, here, Mrs. Chapman, here, Mr. Marietta.
Here.
Thank you, Council. We have quorum. Thank you, visitors, for attending this evening. If you've not already done so, please sign in and get a copy of the agenda. There will be opportunities to speak at 2 points in the agenda labeled visitor comments. Council meetings are recorded and provided to council and the public for review. Meeting minutes are official once the recording is approved by the Village Council by majority vote. Today's recording will become the official record of minutes once approved. The recording is available online at the Village of Hebron, Ohio YouTube channel. I am seeking a motion for approval of the minutes for the April 6th, 2026 council meeting. So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Council Member Chapman and a second from Council Member Marietta. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mr. Juvenile,
Yes.
Mr. Wolf,
Yes.
Mr. Marietta,
Yes.
Mrs. Chapman,
Yes.
Ms. Hoskinson.
Yes. Thank you. It passes 6-0. I'm seeking a motion for approval of the minutes for the April 20th, 2026 Combined Council Committees meeting.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion from Council President Wolf and a second from Council Member Chapman. Any discussion about the minutes? Roll call, please.
Ms. Hoskinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Chapman,
Yes.
Mr. Marietta,
Yes.
Mr. Wolf,
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mr. Juvenile.
Yes.
Thank you. Those minutes pass as well, 6-0. The next item on the agenda is visitor comments, and we have this time reserved on the agenda to hear comments from visitors regarding topics not listed on the agenda. You should have signed in. Please be sure to state your name and your address for the record. There's a 5-minute time limit on speakers. We are very eager to have eager to hear what you have to say, so please speak loudly and clearly into the microphone. Thank you. Would you like to speak to the group? Okay. If you change your mind, you'll have an opportunity later. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is legislation. The first item is Resolution 2603. It's a resolution authorizing the mayor of the Village of Hebron, Ohio, to execute an agreement with the Licking County Health Department for a mosquito control program. This is the second reading. The next item is Resolution 2605. It's a resolution of the Village of Hebron, Ohio, approving the final plat for Hebron Landing Phase 2 submitted by MI Homes of Central Ohio, LLC. This is the second reading. The next item is Ordinance 0426. It's an ordinance to award the contract to clean the Village of Hebron Municipal Building to Peltier Cleaning and to authorize and direct the mayor and fiscal officer to enter into an agreement for such service. That is also a second reading. The next item is Ordinance 0526. It's an ordinance establishing a custodial fund for the Kirkersville, Union, Hebron Joint Economic Development District, JED number 1. It is the second reading. The next item is ordinance 0626. It's an ordinance establishing a special revenue fund from the Hebron Landing Incentive District Tax Increment Financing TIF program. This also is a second reading. The next item is Resolution 2607. This is a resolution authorizing the administrator and the chief fiscal officer to participate in the Ohio Department of Transportation road salt contracts awarded in 2026 for the purchase of road salt for the village of Hebron and declaring an emergency. And I am also seeking a motion to waive the readings.
So move.
Seconded.
I have a motion to waive the readings on Resolution 2607 from Council President Wolf and a second from Council Member Juvenelli. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Juvenile.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Council. Suspending the readings past 6-0. Now I'm seeking a motion to adopt Resolution 2607.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Juvenelli and a second from Councilmember Carpenter. Any discussion on this? Roll call, please.
Mr. Marietta,
Yes.
Mr. Juvenile,
Yes.
Ms. Hoskinson. Yes. Mrs. Chapman.
Yes.
Mr. Wool,
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter.
Yes.
Thank you, Council. It passes unanimous 6-0. And as you know, we try to avoid suspending readings and we try to avoid declaring emergencies where we can, but there is no telling ODOT wait. Okay, the next item is Resolution 2608. It's a resolution authorizing the mayor and the fiscal officer to enter into an agreement with the Licking County Board of Commissioners for Community Development Program Grant Agreement number 25NR-1BO-25 CDBG. Hebron Fifth Street Culvert Installation Project Activity and the Hebron Cedar Street Culvert Project Activity for the Village of Hebron, Licking County, Ohio. This is the first reading.
We received a notification from the county that they have applied the project to the state CDBG program. And the state is committed, providing about $350,000 for this 2 culvert replacement. The local match is of $60,000. And that will be budget for the next fiscal year.
Thank you.
There isn't a time period when that's got to get entered.
The completion date is by August 31st, 2027.
But I mean, for us to apply for it, we don't,
It's already been,
okay.
Thank you. The next item is appropriation amendments.
At the last committee meeting, we discussed the appropriation amendment for the income tax refunds. But today, Mr. Chen and I were talking, and there seems to be some possible change orders to the project at Broadway for water lines. And it's going to probably be at a cost more than what we currently have budgeted this year for the finish that project off. And Mr. Chen could probably talk a little bit more of the details of that. But what I would rather do is instead of doing 2 appropriation amendments, if we could lump some of that in to this appropriation amendment. So I'm going to ask if we could hold off and make the motion at the next council meeting when we have a number that Mr. Chen has an opportunity to work with the water department to find out. So, and then Mr. Chen can.
yeah, that's what I think that would be ideal because speaking with Chief Fiscal Officer, we would like to get a finite number for the appropriations.
So all that to say, next week, we're going to ask for something, but not this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and for our casual listeners, we're not talking about changing the income tax rate. We're talking about, well, just in case somebody watches this, we're talking about there are times where we need to refund some of that money back to payers because they are eligible for that refund. And we need to make sure we have adequate funds in that fund to pay back those who have overpaid. Thank you. The next item on the council action items is the utility rate change. And I want to apologize that I was not able to get this to you sooner. You ought to have at your station something like this. I will tell you, Administrator Chen worked on a memo. I just did not get my ducks in a row in a timely enough fashion, so I'm very sorry about that. But I do have the data for you to at least look at. Again, if you recall from our last discussion, we talked about a proposed amount, which would be a break-even scenario for residents, meaning that what they pay in is likely what it would cost to operate without losing more money unless something really terrible happened. And then feedback in that meeting last week, the sentiment felt like there were considerable council members who were interested in doing something more aggressive. And then during our executive leadership meeting, my team felt very comfortable doing something more aggressive as well. So I wanted to provide you with information on what something like that might look like. And so what we have here is not just what I proposed the week before, but also if we did the proposed plus an additional 10%. And if you can imagine, 10% would mean that we would be putting away, theoretically, 10% of what it costs to make our water every year back into those reserved funds. So if we did this for 10 years, we still only have, theoretically, if we balance it out with inflation, both things costing more and we charge a little bit more with inflation, that means we'd save up a year worth of operating funds in a 10-year cycle. So it's not super aggressive, but it is in the direction that we want to go instead of hemorrhaging money.
It's a safety net.
It is a safety net. And it's certainly not going to pay for major improvements. It's not going to pay for if we need to put in a new tower. It's not going to pay for if we discover that, half of our pipes have lead. I mean, this is operational, yes. I don't know if you want to review this and make comments or if you want to reflect on it and circle back to it next week. I just wanted to give you the data so you could consider it.
There'll be a public hearing on this.
Yes.
I think, yes, if you look at the meeting and event schedule, May 11th, we have an open house scheduled with the goal, I believe, of covering this topic.
Mayor, I'd like to speak to that. Given the fact that we do have an upcoming public forum on this, I think it would be wise as council that we at least make the intention known that we are seeking the 10% increase so that the appropriate documents and figures can be established to present to the community that where we stand as a council, not giving them a variation so that it would be confusing to the public. So how do we go about that? Do we need a motion to that attest that we're looking at the water and the wastewater being proposed 10% versus just the original proposed amount?
Well, I'd like to ask a point of order kind of question. Like, is it possible to do a straw poll to see where people are? Is that appropriate? I just want to make sure everyone is on board and comfortable.
I mean, the straw poll wouldn't be taking any action this
Right.
evening. Just, yes, getting an idea with the body
Yes.
where everyone stands on the issue. You of course have the ability to do that. Yes.
So could we, if comfortable, if council is comfortable with that, could we just kind of get where everyone is on the issue. That way, if there's somebody that maybe is reticent to do this, they could help us understand why, because maybe there's a happy balance we can find that all of us can move forward in a positive direction. Does that make sense?
And I'd like to lead that, say, yes, I am for the 10%. Stop the bleed. We know that it's not going to fix the major deficits, but it'll stop the bleed and then have a little bit of room to where we can plan. And that also allows the administration to work on a set goal. So I'm voting for that.
I think in our last combined committee meeting that we had, what I expressed perhaps made clear my perspective, and to Councilmember Carpenter's point as well, my concern when I look ahead into the future is if in the event that something happens, are we prepared for it? And right now, given how things have operated and the depletion in the reserves in the case anything should happen, I think that this move makes sense and it readies and prepares ourselves in the case anything does happen. That being said, I would support this change as well.
Well, I think 10% is fair enough. If you look at what the cost of living and the cost of anything, it goes 3 to 5% every year anyway. So this is only gonna 10% is only gonna be good for maybe another 2 years tops, and we'd have to do something again. So I think 10 is very fair.
I would say yes too. When was the last raise at when was the last time we increased this?
When we, so the last time it was adjusted, I think was 13 years ago, but that was to decrease it.
Right.
They did an increase in 2010.
Okay.
Which took effect at the beginning of 2010. In 2011, they decreased the sewer, and in 2013, it decreased the water.
Yeah.
Okay, so it
you're asking when was the last
increase was 2010. So 10% is way below the cost of living over the last 16 years. Yeah. So I can't see where anybody could play.
2010 to now, I did that.
Oh, did you?
And it's 48.64%.
So that's not surprising.
And we're asking for 10. I think that's.
Do you remember what the increase was back then?
I guess it wasn't really, it was kind of like a rate, they kind of did a rate change, so I don't really think there was like a percent. They just kind of redid figures. I don't know what it was based on. I just found the legislation.
Go ahead.
Our conversation with Superintendent Jason Figgins, I think it's got me convinced this has to happen.
I agree.
For the 10?
Yes.
Okay.
To be clear, based upon our conversation at that combined committee meeting as well, we still move forward with the CIP. So the plan to understand and inform the larger capital improvements that may need to be made in the future, and if an additional increase may be necessary to prepare for those larger infrastructure changes. So again, I guess to those watching, think of it as simply this move right now is to supplement and prepare in the case of emergency. The plan that should come out later will help us to prepare and plan for the things that actually need to get done to keep our infrastructure the way it should be, if not improve it, just depending on what that comes out as. Just as long as I'm on the same page with that.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then procedurally, does it make sense that council tonight would move forward with recommending the drafting of legislation? So that, because we have 4 meetings after tonight before July 1st. And I think our goal was to have this in place for the second half of the year. So if we were to draft the direct the solicitor to draft the legislation, then we could have a reading next week. We'll have the public open house after that, and then we'd have 2 more readings. And even then, it wouldn't have the 30 days to go into effect, so we'd still need to declare an emergency. Is that correct?
If you believe that this is a concern that would warrant an emergency, yes. You'd have the ability to do that after 3 readings, if you so choose.
Or it could just be part of the legislation, right?
Yes,
Okay.
if you would like it drafted as emergency legislation.
So
We can
that's-
say that tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so then I'd make the motion. We draft the legislation for the water and the wastewater, proposed 10% increase.
Point of order. I see here that that's water wastewater rates. This does not include an increase to tap fees.
This doesn't include anything additional, correct?
Okay.
That exercise needs to occur and not just with tap fees, but all of our fee structure.
Okay.
There are actually several other considerations as well that we need to analyze.
Okay.
I would second the motion.
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor from council member I just, sorry.
So the motion on the floor.
Yes,
If
okay,
I
yeah.
understand it,
Do it.
is to increase the rates of water reclamation and water fees to a proposed rate plus an additional 10%.
Correct.
Okay.
And declaring an emergency.
And declaring an emergency.
And I have that from Councilmember Carpenter and a second from Councilmember Juvenelli. Any discussion?
Yeah, so what is the public hearing gonna be then? Just to inform them?
Well, and
If we're going ahead with legislation, then
And I'd say we probably shouldn't
There
vote on it
is.
until after.
You still have to have your 3 reading. So they can, at any time in the 3 readings, it could be thrown out. I mean, just saying that you still
but
get
they're,
your 3
they're
readings.
declaring an emergency, so there won't be 3 readings.
There will still be 3 readings. We are not waiving the readings. That's different.
Correct.
Right.
Now I understand. Thank you.
So we'll have one meeting before the public hearing and 2 meetings after, so.
Can I make a point of order? That's not a public hearing.
Yeah.
It's a, open house, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
Oh,
I want to
okay.
put that on the record.
I think then to the overarching concern, there will be obviously the standard 3 meetings and in addition to the open house, more than enough time and opportunities for residents to come in and express or otherwise make clear any perspectives on this as such. Time's of the essence too. So obviously, I think to our last conversation last week, it makes sense to move on this.
anybody want to do a video with me?
Sure.
Who said sure? All right.
Well, that's so, we also have zoning that night. too.
That's what I was gonna say in that zoning night.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's prior to.
Okay. What time?
5 PM, right?
Five.
On
It's
the
at
11th?
5, yeah.
Okay, so roll call.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome. Mr. Wolf,
Yes.
Ms. Huskinson,
Yes.
Mr. Juvenelli,
Yes.
Mr. Chapman,
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mr. Marietta.
Yes.
And council, take this with you and talk to your neighbors. I think about 90% of our residents use 5,000 or less gallons. So this should be most of your neighbors, and you should be able to show them what it is today and what it would be.
Could we have, I know we had talked about or said something, a comparison to local rates in the county and possibly what, I'm sure you're gonna have what it's gonna cost to run 1,000 gallons of water through there and what it takes for that. Figures always look nice.
Yeah, we have those information we can provide us, yes. What the surrounding municipal, jurisdiction, what their water and wastewater rate, yes.
Anything else on that? Okay. Next item is the administrator's report.
Before we proceed to the administrator's report.
Yes.
If I may add, a requested council action item. This more or less came up from email communications today, but has been an ongoing communication with, Brittany and MI Homes for about 2 months, but we're probably at the precipice where we could ask for a council action item to amend the Hebron Landings MI Home Development Agreement and request the village solicitor to draft legislation authorizing the mayor or village administrator to sign that amendment.
That's a phase 2.
No,
Oh,
this is
that's
an
right.
amend, this would
That's
be
right.
a new motion to amend the development agreement.
That's right, yeah.
And allow the mayor or the village administrator to sign a contract for the amendment to the MI Homes Hebron Landing deal.
And do you want to expand on what the modifications to the development agreement are?
The modifications to the development agreement are with phase 2, sorry, to Administrator Chen's point. It is going to be who we use as an inspector for phase 2 infrastructure. So we are changing to a different company. And it's actually our current engineer and the requested of.
I'll make that motion.
Seconded.
I have a motion from Councilmember Carpenter, and I'm going to take a second from Councilmember Marietta. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Thank you, Council. It passes 6-0. The next item is the administrator's report.
A couple of updates. In the last couple of days, we had several water main and water valve repair along the East Main Street between 400 block to 500 blocks. It started off, we did the Water Street and East Main Street, and then move on to 519 East Main Street. And then on Friday night, we had another water main break at 521. So I want to take the opportunity to thank police department for providing the traffic control, and also the public works providing the manpower to flag and monitor the lane closures. Also, public work is working on relocating the play structures at the old elementary school that we have worked out with the property owner, that we will take the small play structures and try to relocate it to the Evans Park. So the public work is working on it. Lastly is that we have scheduled the industrial safety assessment from the Bureau of Works and Com to do the site visits at the water department, public works complex, and the wastewater treatment plant. And that will take place in July and in August. The purpose of that assessment is just to identify what might be the safety concerns that we may not have the right device or equipments. So I think that will be very helpful for the plant staff to do their work in a safety manner. That's all I have.
Thank you. Next item is council member reports. Council President Wolf.
I'm good.
Juvenile.
No report. However, I would expand upon Administrator Chen's report and also commend the efforts of Public Works and, of course, our Hebron Police Department for the efforts that were done in order to handle the water main repairs and everything that were done here over the past week. So huge thanks and, of course, recognition of their efforts as well. That's all from me.
I have no.
Okay, thank you. Hi.
More of a question. At Evans Park, there is a shed that is missing a lot of boards and falling apart. Is that responsibility of the village, or who does that fall under? Because that needs
Those are
repaired.
the leagues shed.
Okay,
So I believe CJ had contacted lead presidents and asked them to repair those because it's unsightly, plus conceivably things could be disappear from the shed. Yes.
Yeah. Is there a deadline?
I need to find that out, but I think that needs to be fixed right away. Yes.
I wonder if it should be modified in the contract somehow.
I think eventually we need to
Yeah.
address those in any agreement that we have with the leagues, that they have to have some immediate response for that kind of issues.
And a standard to keep their buildings.
Right.
That's correct.
Because I think that a lot of people assume it's on the village to repair
Yeah.
things like that. So,
Understand.
okay.
Maybe we could get a sign and put it in front shaming the league that owns it.
Property of,
Yes,
thank you.
a phone number.
My only question is back to the water. We had the water main breaks that you were talking about. And that is the emergencies that we're talking about. I was wondering like how big that was and I take it funds to cover that. And, so it just drives home the point that we need to do something on the water. So
I have nothing.
All right.
May I, with what Andrea just said, that would be nice to find out what the total cost on just that one water break was. That'd be a good point.
For the contractor, it's 15,000 for.
Oh,
you
no,
to
I
take
don't
it.
want, I'm just saying, I think that ought to be in a
Yes.
slide.
Understand,
It's a
For the open
talking point
house,
for
yes.
The open house.
yes, and that's just for the contract because we only have our staff time there as well. Yes.
Please.
No, I was just gonna comment on the 5K to the 250. You know, I thought it was a wonderful event. I saw a lot of community participation. The Penny Wolf and her team for setup, I thought they just did an excellent job. That was a good look for the village.
I've heard nothing but great things about the event.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But because of that, I'm Switzerland on all this, so.
I want to be a part of the next year's rifle team.
Oh, you.
there's only a one and done though.
You
so.
know,
Oh, another
Don't
50
top that,
years, we'll do it.
Okay.
All right, mayor's report. Honestly, my entire focus has been on our water and sewer rates and just trying to gather up enough information so we can move forward with as much data as we need to help voters understand. Pardon? Oh, yeah, so we had the Love Your Neighbor volunteer day. I'm completely biased. I am one of those people that on social media gets suckered into, the house that looks awful and then somebody just shows up at the door and it's, a little old lady and he's like, I'm here to do this for you for free. And they're like, really? And then they clean the whole place and it's amazing. And that is exactly what happened on Saturday. And it was fantastic. There was one house Gary and I went to 3 different places. The one that we spent the most time at, there were people power washing, there were people clearing our gutters, there were people repairing siding, there were people repairing fencing, repairing the gates, picking up all sorts of debris in the yard. It just looked like a totally different house when we were done. So it was really great. It was funny. There were neighbors like standing outside watching with their coffee. So I don't know what they thought was happening, but it was really good. It was a great experience. So yeah, thank you. Okay, our visitor left, and with regard to review of expenses, unless it's otherwise noted, it's understood that council members have reviewed the expense report provided and have no questions. And then just want to draw your eye to the meeting and event schedule. Of course, we have our next council meeting coming. Then on the 11th, we have our open house. And then we get into our first farmers market of the year. I'm so excited. After that farmers market is when the art mural ribbon cutting reception will be occurring. So I hope you'll make time to attend that. Also, combined committees meeting after that will be closed for Memorial Day, of course, and then we get into our final council meeting for the month. And then the art and music mini series will be at the very end of the month. I'll also mention as a side note, if you are a fan of adult beverages, there is a Lady Jane beer that will be sold at the Buckeye Lake Brewery. And so it's named after the canal boat that was built in the village of Hebron when the canal was originally dug out. And that canal boat was so big it couldn't get through the locks, so they docked it. And it became a house of ill repute. And there was all sorts of shenanigans in there, gambling and drinking and everything. And the good women of this village had had enough. And after, I think, 20 to 30 years, they burnt her to the ground in the middle of a night. And so that is what this is named after. So if you have time, I would encourage you to check it out. The can is adorable and it has the story on the can. So I think it's a perfect gift. It's the brewery in Buckeye Lake that's selling it. Yeah. He did plan on having kegs. Yes. So anyway, so if you get a chance, I'm planning on sending it to every politician in the county. I think they should know how awesome we are. Yeah. We don't take shenanigans around here. So any other items, comments? Okay, so I'm seeking a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Marietta and a second from Councilmember Chapman. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wolf,
Yes.
Mr. Juvenile,
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter.
Yes.
Osmondson.
Yes.
Mrs. Chapman.
Yes.
Mrs. Marietta.
Yeah.
Thank you, Council. It's 6:36 and this meeting is now adjourned.